drop zones available far east. Game 1, you usually like to think simple circles, simple plane paths. This is arguably, on a wrinkle, one of the more tricky plane paths to start things off with.
See, you say that, but over in the Americas region, it's like the first circle is going to be 95% water.
Because this roof would be completely blown off.
I know, we're pretty close to the audience over here, and I don't want to see what would happen how this goes. But there's no information, and no matter how they come into this, they're going to be bumping into a squad.
Yeah, I was going to say Taipei, they potentially might just backfill Thailand if they continue to go east around this one. Let's see a new circle.
Oh.
Just a second away from popping. Where are we? Going back up north. Okay, so playing cash on this find one. I don't assume there's going to be a flush all fit in the building.
This is such a, they're so hard right now. Indonesia can't really move. They've got China on the other side, but they're kind of gatekeeping out China's position. They do have Chinese Taipei that made the dash into this area just to the east of what we're looking at, and that's why we see Indonesia kind of, I guess, hunkered off in this spot. So Indonesia looks like they are eyeing the China side, but I mean, which way do you go? No matter which way you try to come out of this, it's going to be a bloodbath.
Exactly. I mean, Indonesia needs to be well aware that they have an entire team sitting up in plane crash, just ready and waiting.
Down here,
feel it in your feet.
China trying to make the move in, and they're very aware that they've got Indonesia. Taipei still stretching out and should have the northern gatekeeping position onto them. I mean, it's...
China falls out in 12th play. They tried to play the valley, but there's simply too many teams up top dealing with them.
It's so open in the north, but it is so hard to make that rotation. You can see Korea does manage to get themselves a little inside the zone. They've got a dip to play. They do also have Germany that's pretty close, but the circle shifts away from them, going to the west. The teams on the outside could have an opportunity. Korea hopping inside of a vehicle. They just got a clown car. They're sending it out. Vietnam taking some shots. Doesn't get enough to knock one just yet, but where do they go? Rolling right in, right next to Turkey.
Kirtpat tried to throw one forward, bounce off a little bit to the side, not going to get it. They were standing right on top of one another. Could be absolutely insane. That one comes down. Loki, first one to fall, and Onyx down to half HP. They are in trouble. Korea, they are still alive, but they still have further to go. Turkey sitting over the top, holding on. Argentina now coming into this one too.
Trying to leapfrog this. What is Argentina going to do?
The fight's been happening so far. The last 10 minutes straight, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. Indonesia does fall, but now Korea. But first area of the lane.
Yeah. Committal's coming back. I think that we're going to at least see another awkward drop next to each other. Leo is at least going to go to the crossroads.
Get a car.
Yeah.
Go get a car.
Yeah.
Find yourself some sort of safety on the other side, and we'll see what happens from there on out. Everything else looking quite good and dandy.
And I think that's going to be about as much. This is going to be the modification that we're going to get.
Yeah, exactly.
I do believe that if we're going to see any more hot
there's
drops,
no one making their way towards this fight, so 3 will stay put, but nice engagement.
And again, after this one, so play it slow. Now, Indonesia coming in. Looks like they're going to be coming along Turkey's line, as Turkey did move out of their position into this point, but this is fairly surrounded. They've got Thailand on the other side of it, and you're just going to have to bully your way into it, but Turkey's already held up in the spot, and Turkey, oh, you needed to get that one.
I love that we see Indonesia kind of silent pulling up on Turkey, but the question was, who were they going to engage? But Turkey! Before we even get to say it, they fall down. Indonesia, nice back-to-back from Neil and Kid X, and now Thailand, though they're going to be the next one to have to fight. Norins, few shots landed, will back off. Yeah. They still have a Chinese player left behind them.
I was about to say the same thing. Thailand can't get too caught up in it.
He falls down. No way he's going to get back up. Circle, once again, not holding back. Gets another, adds to it. 5 kills for Xiaopian. 6 for the team in total as he wraps further forward. Unfortunately, Thailand will fall. The power of the solo from China, too much for him to deal with. He just continues. There's no fear whatsoever. Lob those nades forward. See what more you can find.
What do you got to lose at this point? Might as well try to make something out of it. You know that you're going to have to fight your way in. See if you can get some points on 2 life, though. So
departure of Canada from this game, and Finland now seeing this, of course, will now dare to push a bit further forward. Issue for Australia right now is that they're split 2-2 with players still far on the north side. If Argentina opts to actually engage in this, it's going to be very hard for them to regroup.
But you can see that the 2 in the back do have a firing line to protect and harass on the approach. And yep, you can see Indonesia is making the play into Korea's line, and they're sneaking.
They're committing all the way in. Keep in mind, Loki's still solo player up front in the complete opposite side of shooting range, sitting here. He wasn't able to get back earlier. Vietnam kind of denied him access to his teammates, and now he's going to have not 1 but 2 teams very, very close to
party waiting to happen. They have a lot of control of the eastern side of this, so yeah, I like this. Play it. Come over here, Indonesia. I like the way that they're making the approach in, but Vietnam, this to do some damage. Soul's going to step away from it. United Kingdom still playing this high ground, as it is Australia trying to navigate this trench in between the two.
Loki finds Imcard as well. Additional just here. What? Okay, making their way down the hill, at least with the first couple of players. Vart still up on the hillside, trying to be the eye in the sky, trying to grant more vision and info for the UK players down below.
His angle is predominantly on the UK. You're going to open up more movement capabilities for Korea. Michael has been doing really good, is trying to find some way to make the play into this one. Soul, here's what's happening, trying to bend up, but it's going to be beautiful high ground defenses coming up from the UK. They know exactly how they want to play this, and it is so efficient.
Vart can peek over right now because T-Bone is doing so much damage to Korea. Korea is the only team that can spot Vart up above, and they know as long as we have T-Bone holding them down.
Third time in a row, maybe a milli though. I would like a military.
You know what I haven't seen in a long time? School. I haven't seen a good school on a
Right.
program thing. Like, when was the last time you saw one of those?
School, not for a while. Apps, obviously, close by, is one that I always like watching and seeing teams just sort of send the vehicle.
Goal? No, he's just scouting it out. Okay. You could maybe get a lucky hit on that one, but instead I like this. Just instead hop and play it safe. I think that's going to be what everybody's leaning into.
Oh, there we go. That's what we like to see. Crowd likes that one too. We get our military base circle, or at the very least, Sosnovka Island. Great for Germany.
They're
not really going to find you wins.
But they're going to find you points, and that's why they're so valuable at this stage. Brazil aware now about
Not too bad. That almost looked like a low light rail for Canada in the making, but it didn't happen. In fairness, you know, Sosnovka Island, never an easy circle to navigate. Never an easy one.
I've just got to point it out, 9 kills already in this game for United Kingdom.
Yeah.
That puts them 13 points ahead of Korea in
For the
first.
remainder of this game, so that's a lead that they can now start to build as well.
All right, things are settling down. China still regretting what happened to them earlier. Looks like they are going to reset circles, going pretty much where everybody expected it to. This circle has got a very large drop just to the east of where Thailand's playing at, but that means that Thailand's also going to have a lot of vision and supervision inside of this circle. So they're going to be able to harass easy pickup for Canada, but now they have been revealed, and China knows it. China already being very aggressive, moving up the hillside. Canada has got to be careful onto this. Wenyan taking some damage, stepping away from it. New circle is about to pop. Are we going?
Where they have not been able to live up to the reputation that beholden them before coming into the tournament. Nile for Indonesia. Attack. It's actually Teddy that goes down to Noran, a top player for Thailand. Nile pushes over, gets the down onto Balmoth. It's 1-for-1 for Indonesia versus Thailand.
This is a good position for Noran to play, but he doesn't want to over-peek it. I like this, kind of retreat back. But, I mean, he could be more aggressive. The best way to defend your teammates right now is to kill everybody else, but RDK at the distance is causing a problem for them. Throwables are coming out. Thailand has the vision to work with. Do they have the aim to connect in? Trying to spot it. RDK does manage to make it to that cover, but you can see the rest of Indonesia still in trouble.
And you mentioned Thailand's position before this high ground. We're really seeing the fruition of it as well. Noran's peaks. He goes down. It's Kid X, though, from behind. A bit of an off angle. Catches the star player for Thailand. He pushes up. He wants to go for the flush. They need to take this high ground. For Indonesia, you get these kind of knocks. You're playing on the slopes. Once you get a bit of an advantage, you really got to take it.
You've got to go quick inside this firefight, and I love the fact that Indonesia is trying to. They are not inside the next safe zone, and if this hillside isn't in the safe zone, you're in trouble. It's so hard to get out of. So get in here, get your kills fast, and try to go, because look, everybody on the outside of it that's already in the circle is just looking up the hillside, waiting for you.
Yeah, and Brazil kind of just getting free look from the south side of that major row. Belmont eventually finished off by Nile, and there's VHC getting that down. That's LFP1 as well onto Janku. Thailand just getting ripped to shreds. It's only Esquilusia left now. Only the 1 kill for the home nation. Regardless of Esquilusia's position, they have to keep moving to...
But this is a very awkward spot for these teams to be in. With the amount of teams that we have playing along that fence row, this is going to be a very weird end game, to say the least. But I hate to say it, Canada, Indonesia, this is not going to be good for you, because the further you move into the circle just means the fact that the more teams are going to be able to see you.
Now, Indonesia right now doing a decent job to survive this. Brazil quite a distance away, not the easiest of shots, even with the 8x. It's still, you know, tough shots to hit, but they do get the knock. Fortunately, there's a very tiny little ridge.
It's going to be UK in a good spot yet again to kind of supervise what's going to be happening behind us. Finna has just got all of them lined up in front of him. That's 2 down. Can he get more? He's got 3. finally does go down, and who's going to be able to pick those up? Is it even?
Yes, they lose Tiggleton, but they get the kills for it. Now up into second place for Team Australia as well. Still inside of the military base, needing to push their way forward. 7 teams remain now with Desert, and this is where we get to now see some of the teams that maybe struggled a little bit on Erangel, depending on the circle lurk, their drop locations. Maybe it switches fortunes for them on Miramar.
Yeah, sure. I think a lot of times if you go back into PUBG history, when we switch maps, when we go between our 2 maps, yeah, things tend to get flipped a little bit. Teams that were struggling or, you know, teams that just have a better feel for Miramar in general. I mean, in particular for me coming from...
You have any of that early action going on. You mentioned obviously Turkey, Korea, well, a bit of a long distance shot. That's just the staple of Miramar more than anything. But fortunately, nothing really to be had early on. I'm very, and obviously San Martin's still in terms of a big POI. That damage on the board, landing those shots would be great for his confidence. As Shiva, we see the replay of the RTK. Couldn't quite make that jump. A bit of a freebie there for Japan, who honestly
space open. Meanwhile, Indonesia, one of those teams I was just talking about that was up on the north side, getting cut down between Japan and Finland. T-Bone still just trying to hide this out, trying to wait it out. Meanwhile, Japan has stolen a couple of those kills from Finland there, so able to find some good long-distance points. Now we are going to shift over to the west. This is really interesting. There's still a little bit of that quote-unquote unplayable terrain in there with an awful road in the middle.
Yeah, I also feel like we might go down to that awful road later on.
Yeah.
Grexy finds the kill onto T-Bone. Feels like Grexy's been a little bit quiet so far this tournament. That might be what gets him going. Xavier and Yan Li go out for Chinese Taipei. They're eliminated in 13th position. 40 players left alive, 12 teams just hitting the 20-minute mark now as H-Wing goes down to Silzen. Argentina and the United States continue this engagement. That smoke dissipating though. Shrimsy, does he find his kill right in front of him? No, it's Kickstart that goes down. We saw, by the way, Germany wiped out by Finland. Big points for them. Still 3 up for Argentina, 3 kills. Shrimsy surely goes down and does so. Well watched, well guarded by Silzen. They get the wipe onto the United States.
Yeah, Korea's been having a battle with Brazil over on this warehouse. They have Loki knocked, bleeding out rather deep.
And it is, of course, Miramar.
Yes, I was a bit excited about our original playing path. We had seen just down the middle of the map, you know, pretty easy to get to most of the spots you need to get to. There could be a little bit congestion here or there on some of the north to south, you know, arteries that run around there, but I think actually this one should be pretty fair. What I'm really keen here, and I'm glad our observers are kind of keeping a bit of track of it, is what's going to happen with the Churmasera Church, because that's been the real point of contention to the northwest area. This one pretty likely to end. Get that level 3 gear, you get that unbelievably fantastic sniper for this part of the game where you're able to get in some of these tall buildings on the outskirts of El Pozo and maybe really put it to work.
Yeah, I do wonder, do we get a bit of a city finish to maybe close off the day? And
from that spot. So right now they moved out of it as nobody's coming, so they've recognized that, and now they realize they have to start positioning for future circles.
I do like this though, sending the 2 in a tense day for Thailand, and now teams don't make the move. They've seen enough. They've seen
elevation in the buildings that you never know when somebody has an angle down onto you when you're trying to make a cross. So it can be really tricky to get in and around. So RDK now knows there's going to be pressure coming from Germany.
Up being their downfall, smashed down courtesy of Niall. Bit of a fragger for Indonesia, but he goes to Lyron on the stairs. Don't think he was anticipating the Turkish player to be that close. And only Teddy remains for Indonesia. 5 kills for them, though, and a decent little game to close out day 1. And he pulls out the sword-off shotgun, and he puts it to good use on the Quetbar, making 6 kills. Oh, Teddy! The quick snap headshot onto the stair player of Lyron. Indonesia. This phase 1 circle into a good game. Now, of course, previous match, this was our final match yesterday. It was on Mirror, and we had an El Pozo finish.
Not too often we see them. More often lately, I feel like, than we have seen in the past. I just gotta say, as much as we know the pump action has come into play over the last couple of tournaments, I think I can count on one hand how many sawed-off knocks I've ever seen in competitive PUBG. And I got 3 in one game yesterday. Here you have him, Teddy, jumping up, finding the first back-to-backs. He did that twice in one match. That is unheard of.
Yeah, I think now you'll have to count on 2 hands moving forward for sort of
essentially,
kills. So down to 9 teams. It has come to a bit of a quiet point. Teddy with a nade. He's only got the 1. But it could do so much damage if it catches a couple of members of Canada. He's flashed momentarily, pulled out the sword-off shotgun, which already got him a kill earlier, and it might get him another one. He lands a second shot, headshot onto Jimboy.
No way!
There's a second tag out the window. It's like James Bond, and then the nade. It could be so detrimental for Canada. Jimboy crawls.